it's just so special for our club, mate, our club.
Lastly, after 57 years of pain, it's coming home.
Hey there, TJ here, and welcome to Yeah The Dees, where I'm reviewing our slogfest against Carlton in round 12 of the 2023 season. Not really pretty, not a lot of highlights, just grinded out the win here. But I was really, really happy with this game, other than our finishing and some of our kicking skills were a bit poor. But we can work on that. That's all very fixable. What I did really like was our structure, our defense, our turnover game, our intercept game. Really had a lot of things on point, which we hadn't had in some of the previous experimental weeks, which made me happy. The other thing that made me happy is I got access to the rooms after the game, which was a lot of fun. Ended up getting my head on TV during Rome and Brian, and got to meet a few of the players and get a few quick snaps with like JVR, Stephen May, Christian Salem, Kay Chandler, and Brody Grundy. Big shout out to Liana for hooking that up for me through my brother. So let's get into the team selection and then get cracking into the game. So we had a few changes here for this game with James Jordan, Michael Hibberd and Tom McDonald coming out. Turns out Tom McDonald's needed surgery on his ankle, which I was a bit surprised to see. I didn't even notice him getting injured in the previous game, but he'll be out for a good 6 weeks. Michael Hibberd managed for this game, so he would be cherry ripe for Collingwood, and James Jordan going and getting a full game in the VFL, as he's been the sub for a couple of weeks and hasn't really been able to play a full game of footy. We saw Adam Tomlinson coming in for Michael Hibberd, which I was begging for, so that helped bring our defensive structure back to that 3 tall unit where Jake Lever gets released, so I was really, really glad for that. And I was very happy to see Joel Smith play in the forward line, and generally we've only just seen him down back. Played a defensive role on Jacob Wiedering, and I felt like Jacob didn't have too much of an impact, which was good. But anyway, I'm starting to get into the game, so let's just get cracking into the game. So there was a small period in this first quarter after we had 2 attempts on goal where they started to get some inside 50s and I felt like they had a bit of control. It was just in this sort of first 10 to 12 minutes of play, and then it just completely flipped, and I really, really found the game really easy to watch, even though we were only like 1 or 2 goals up. We just controlled it. We absolutely had it. So they had their run on, but our defensive structure held up really well. Some of the areas in our defense that had been lacking, which is basically not being able to release Jake Lever, was definitely looked at and addressed by bringing in Adam Tomlinson. I know a lot of people are shitting on Adam Tomlinson because Harry Mackay was able to take quite a few marks inside 50, but it's about where he takes those marks and where those opportunities are. Like his first goal here was a snap from the pocket. That's a low percentage place to mark the ball, and we sacrificed that role and put Tomlinson on Harry, who's not going to be down for the whole year. He's going to have his games where he gets his kicking right. And of course, it was going to be against us where he kicked a few. He kicked 3-2 for the game. So he had 5 opportunities on goal, and he is a jet. He's a Coleman medalist. He's one of the best marks in the league. He's going to get his opportunities, but it was tactically chosen for us to put Tomlinson on him so Stephen May could shut down Charlie Curnow, who only had 1 goal for the whole game. Giving up six goals to the Blues for the game is a really good job, especially holding them to 2 goals at half-time. Unfortunately, we didn't get as much on the board, but we had 21 scoring shots for the game, which is a really good amount, where Carlton only had 14. So that's a big differential, even though we weren't able to get reward for those shots on goal. But our defence looked much better. And obviously we'd like it to be Harrison Petty there because he's been so good in defence for the last 2 years. We've had that experiment now. We've had the Petty experiment up forward. We've had the pushing Max Gawn forward for a game like this one. And in previous weeks, having Grundy run as the main ruckman, and then also playing this smaller division down back with like Rivers, Brayshaw, Bowie, Hibberd, and now Salem coming back into the mix in that defensive unit. Just allowing May and Lever to play their natural games. We saw an incredible defensive display. And I do love defense. I love watching the way that we move, which is a lot easier to do when you're at the game. You can't so much do it when when you're watching on TV, because you don't get that down the ground footage where you can watch the players move as a unit, and it is a joy to watch. But we did change up a little bit of the way that we do our zoning. So we played sort of one-on-one, sort of 20 meters from stationary situations. Further back, we had Stephen May as that defensive goalkeeper. Sometimes he'd roll off Curnow. If Curnow was an attacking option, he'd go and man up on him one-on-one. And then we had like a zone sort of in between where we could really spread. So we put a lot of our players in that middle defensive part of the ground behind the stoppage so we can take the turnover and move forward. So it was really interesting to see that we've adjusted a little bit. And I believe we've adjusted because we're playing Collingwood next week, and it feels like that this sort of setup might help counteract their numbers around the ball if we can web out and stop their run. Alex Neil-Bullen gets reward for his effort in this first quarter with the goal. He's had a really good season this year as a defensive midfielder, and getting all his tackling happening in the forward half of the ground a lot of the time. Cozzy's Pickett's goal, that snap between two players, probably my favourite goal of the game. I know Max's was great from 50, but this little, just was an absolute beauty, this little snap here. Really, really good. So, unfortunately, us not really kicking straight hurt. We kicked 3-3 for this quarter to get 21 points. Easily could have been 5-1 or 4-2, and Carlton got 1-8 for the quarter. So we won that quarter by 13 points before leading into the second. When it comes to pressure, we did that quarter with Carlton putting on 195 average pressure points, which is just just under elite, and it's 15 points above average. We sat at 179 for that quarter, so pretty much around AFL average. There was a lot of pressure early. Carlton got a few turnovers early in that first quarter, but that was generally the best they sort of played was there, other than their little 2-goal run in that third, which we quickly stamped out. Time was pretty evenly spread between the forward halves, 52% to us and 48% to Carlton, and that's pretty much the closest it got for the game. But we kick off the second quarter with another 2 misses here. So we kick 1-4 from set shots at that stage of that second quarter. And it's like the way we had been kicking in the first few rounds, that would have been 4-1. And bad kicking's bad football. And that's the difference between us smashing this side and just keeping in front of them for the whole game, where, we convert those goals. We're not talking about us looking like shit. Bailey Fritsch gets a few more on the board, being the quality player that he is. We're not talking about the finishing in the forward line and all that sort of stuff. So, Charlie Spargo getting a reward for kind of going over the ball. A lot of people are saying that he dived and does that sort of thing, and he's kind of, I guess, known for it and that sort of thing. He's a very, very smart player, but don't put your hand there. If you don't give the umpire a reason to give away those free kicks. And look, they were bloody terrible on Friday night, 22-13, I think it was, in favour of Carlton in terms of free kicks. And there was there was one free kick I watched paid for throwing the ball where the umpire paying it the player had his back to him. There was absolutely no chance that the umpire could have seen whether he threw it or not. And it was a really, really bad call. And I'm just sick of these bad calls, but it's just footy. So anyway, move on. I won't talk about the umpiring anymore. Harry Mackay got his second goal, and they're only got 2 goals from that first half with us. So pretty happy with that. Before JVR got a nice mark sort of towards the 30-meter mark or 35-meter mark of the pocket, and then drilled one through. Not a very exciting second quarter, other than sort of seeing the way that Carlton were trying to tag Petrarca, even though Petrarca was playing head-to-head with Patrick Cripps. So they started to try and get somebody to play next to Petrarca. So essentially they had 2 players on one, and Petrarca was, trying to limit Cripps' impact, and then had somebody else following him. Another thing I will say is that we were definitely setting up more defensive at centre bounce. So I was very, very happy to see that and not see our players sort of run forward. We played a lot more defensively. We kept Carlton to 39 inside 50s this game and 40 forward half turnovers, which is a record. So that just shows how good we were defensively. And if you are clued into that defensive game, it's a joy. I know, a lot of the spectacle is about kicking goals and all that sort of stuff, but if you can love a spoil as much as a goal, the enjoyment for the game goes through the roof. So that second quarter, we kicked 2-3-15 to 1-3-9. won the quarter by 6 points and now lead by 19 at half time. So pressure dropped off massively from Carlton that quarter. They had a 161 rating for that quarter. Ours dropped just a little bit from the first. We had a 172 rating, dominated with the ball in hand 56% towards our forward half. So Carlton had their little run in this third quarter. They kicked 3 goals, Harry Mackay kicking their third goal, and it was just, I was just amazed to kind of be there. A bit like, he's kicked 3-1, and I think at that stage they were 3-5 on the scoreboard at the time, and only getting 4 points from other sources. Max Gawn really should have kicked that one from in front. Same with Bailey Fritsch. He had 3 opportunities by that stage and had missed 3 goals. Eddie Langdon usually bins those ones as well, so there's a few that unfortunately missed. Jake Bowie had a really great game before he got knocked out. He had 8 intercepts for the game before that incident and will unfortunately miss next week. I think it was one of his better games for the year. I think he was just excellent. I was really, really happy with it. Bailey finally got on the board with a great mark and just snapping it through. Got a bit of shit during the week saying that goal hungry because he didn't pass it to Chandler, who was in the goal square where he wouldn't have seen when he had spun around, and he nailed the goal anyway. So I was actually really happy to see Kane Corns come out and defend him and say that article was a load of crap because if you know Bailey Fritsch, he's almost kicked 200 goals already. And he's been playing with us for 4 seasons, 5 seasons? What an absolute jet. Carlton getting 2 goals in a row, and I saw a few people get nervous, and I'm like, with the way they're playing, man, no way. They just kicked pretty much the equivalent of their first half score in 2 minutes. They're not going to get on a run. And then we answered back within 2 minutes with Bailey Fritsch kicking his second for the game there. So for that third quarter, we unfortunately lost it by 6 points. Carlton kicked 3-1-19 to our 2-5-17. So we had a lot more shots on goal. We had 7-4, but unfortunately lost the quarter by 2 points and went into the lead with 17 points. That was our equal best pressure quarter. We had 179 points and Carlton were at 166. Time in forward half in the third, we had it at 65% and they got 35%, but they just kicked a little straighter, so I got a bit more reward. They kicked the first goal of the fourth quarter 5 minutes in, and that's pretty much that is their last goal of the game. And we just process with our structures. Max Gawn kicks his big bomb from 50 where he marked it, and the guy didn't we marked it. Where are we? Where's my camera? We marked it here. The dude went and stood on the mark here. The guy went and stood on the mark here because it's a mirror. Sorry, I'm just working this out. Guy went and stood on the mark here, and then Max Gawn ran around and kicked that way. He kicked 17 meters to the side of where he should have kicked it from. And that's just poor form from the Carlton defender, probably because I don't care. The game's over. They're just trying to get through it. Finished off the game nicely. And that's game. So it was an even quarter, that last quarter. Both teams kicked 1-2-8. It was quite boring, possibly the shortest quarter I've ever seen in my life. Didn't expect both teams to only kick 1 goal, but we sort of got dragged through to the end of it. And that's the end of the game. The last quarter pressure ratings was 148 to 153. Both teams just looking a little bit tired. When it comes to time in forward half, it was 57% in our favour. When it comes down to pressure points, our leaders was Christian Petrarca on 53, Alex Neil-Bullen on 52, Jack Viney 46, Tom Sparrow 45, and then Chandler and Pickett on 33, Brayshaw and Hunter following up behind them on 28 and 26 points each. Our best score source was turnover. We kicked 4-7-31. Throw-in, we got 2 goals from that straight, and ball up 2 goals 3. We kicked 2 points from centre bounce, where Carlton kicked 2 goals 1 from that. They also got 2 goals from ball ups and 2 goals from turnover. From set shot, and this is where we really let ourselves down, we kicked 5-10-40 from set shots, and from general play we kicked 3-3-21. So we kicked 61 points for the game. Under expected scores, we should have had 81. Carlton on their expected scores should have had 45. So we're 20 points down what we should have been. This should have been a 37-point win, and that's why we just looked a bit shit. So if we rest up, and we've come off, quite a few series of 6-day breaks, but if we rest up, get things right, we should be good. These next 3 games, because we don't really have a proper bye. We have 3 10-day breaks in a row. So the players should be able to get enough rest, and hopefully we see our kicking come back to what it was at the start of the year when we were absolutely binning it. I think we were 9-1 or something from set shots at one stage. So yeah, fingers crossed that comes back. Let's get into the stats. So 50 more disposals for us. Yeah, we absolutely dominated this game. It was ugly, but it was easy. Yeah, that shows with our disposal efficiency sitting at 69.6%, 4% under average. We had 59 inside 50s to 39. Look, Carlton's average is 51.1, and we were able to keep them to 39. Our average is 58, so we're sitting around right. You see how low Carlton are on all their averages there. That just shows how much we dominated them. Efficiency inside 50, we're around the mark, and that's 6% down on Carlton's. Yeah, free kicks, fuck me, that was just rubbish. Hit-outs, I was surprised to see Carlton got so many with Pitnet going out. Tom DeConing, look, he's an alright player, he's not bad, but yeah, I was really just seeing them get monstered, him and Jack Silvani. Centre clearances, they won by 1, but stoppage clearances, we won by 10, so we were a bit better around the ground. So won the clearances 38 to 29. That was just a nice display there, really sort of getting back on top of our contested game. And Carlton's a contested ball team, like smashed them in contested possession and uncontested possession. Turnovers, yep, it was a high turnover game. We had so many intercepts, but yeah, you can basically expect both teams to really turn it over 70 times or like 20-ish times per quarter. Yeah, marks inside 50, beat them by 6. And yeah, a lot more scoring shots for us. Beat them by 11 in tackles. Tackles inside 50 was 6. I would have liked to have seen that closer to double. And we probably would have seen a bit more score on the board if we had been able to execute our tackles inside 50. Ed Langdon, back in form, looking good. 590 with Stephen May, 495, doing well. Lockie Hunter, back in a bit of form as well after having a week off. Just good. Bailey Fridge played one of his better games I've seen, really, other than kicking 3 behinds. If he kicked 5 goals, we'd all be going, wow, what a game. He had 18 disposals. Jacob Van Rooyen, rising star this week, had a great game. 16 disposals, involved with a lot of score involvements. Only got the 1 goal as reward, but he was doing his job quite regularly. So 12 intercept possessions for Jake Lever, and that just shows the difference in what he can do when he's got a third tall back there. Christian Petrarca with 9, Jake Bowie with 8 and only played 3 quarters, not even 3 quarters. Stephen May with 6, Trent Rivers with 5, Angus with 5. So yeah, just a really, really good spread there. Ed Langdon with 7 inside 50s, Jack Bailey and Angus with 5 each themselves. Jack Viney with 4 centre clearances, he was pretty decent. Christian Petrarca, 17 contested possessions. Joel Smith, 100%, even though he only had a handful of disposals. But yeah, Jake Lever clean as always. Onto the coaches' votes now, and this is the way that the coaches saw it. I was very surprised to see Jacob Wiedering get a vote here, but maybe Michael Voss felt sorry for him. And this is how it got split up. But yeah, onto my votes now, and I gave Jake Bowie 1 vote. Thought he was absolutely fantastic before he got taken off. I turned around and said to my brother, I'm like, this is one of the best games I've seen Jake Bowie play, and then 3 seconds later he's knocked out lying on the ground. Gave 2 votes to Bailey Fritsch for a great game, a little bit further up the ground, not so much on the scoreboard, but did some really great things there. Gave 3 votes to Angus Brayshaw, who just filled a hole, played every role on the ground. Gave 4 votes to Stephen May, who was absolutely incredible in smothering Charlie Curnow, keeping him to 1 goal. Gave 5 votes to Jake Lever, who was the intercept king, very clean with his disposal, back to his best, and gave 6 votes to the man that was a step above absolutely everybody else in this game, and that was Christian Petrarca. He just looked like an absolute jet from the get-go and was definitely the difference in this game. Do have to apologise to JVR, who also had a fantastic game, but unfortunately didn't fit him in the votes. Same with Alex Neil-Bullen, Ed Langdon, and Lockie Hunter. Onto the VFL now, and we went to Southport for the VFL Grand Final rematch, and it did not disappoint. It was a back and forth game. As you can see here, we were able to kick the first goal through Josh Shackey, and then Jai Lockhart, brother of Jay Lockhart, who also plays for the Sharks, got on the board, and they kicked 3 in a row here before we were able to get 3 in a row ourselves in this second quarter. Ben Brown getting on the board with 2 goals, and recently re-signed Oliver Seston, getting on the board there. Jay Lockhart also got on the board before we answered back through Josh Shackey, who had a great game. George Gray getting on the board just before half-time. And we ended up going into half-time, 11 points up. An arm wrestle again ensues with us trading goals. James Jordan with this goal was absolutely mint. He had a fantastic game in the VFL and had a huge bomb from outside 50. Unfortunately, they answered back quickly with 2 goals. Jay Lockhart getting on the board again. And then there was another 2 back-to-back goals here with George Gray and Jay Lockhart. But then George Gray kicks his third, a handy 2-kick lead going into the last quarter, being up by 8 points. And then, it just came down to who would end up in front of the ledger towards the end here. Well, Josh Shackey was able to answer in this last quarter. They drew up the game here after kicking a couple of points and then got in front, and Josh Shackey kicking the winner towards the end for us to win by 1 point. So, some changes this week coming from this game. Michael Hibbard, who was completely rested, will be back, and I can see him coming straight in for Jake Bowie. Obviously, James Harms also got the 1 week suspension, so I just see Clayton Oliver just coming straight in for him. I don't think we had any other niggles, so it should be okay. I did actually have a quick chat with Jake Bowie in the rooms after the game, and he was moving around okay, but the protocols will see him miss. So, we're sitting third, obviously, with Brisbane and St Kilda having a game in hand here. Still got the highest amount of points scored by a team, even despite us being 3 wins behind Collingwood, who we play this Monday. I saw an article about Brodie Grundy wanting to take the first bounce against his old side, and I'm all for it. I absolutely love it. I hope we play a bit more of Max Gawn at full forward. I think we'll really stretch Collingwood's defence if we have him there. This is going to be a cracking game on Monday. It's going to be absolutely wild. But the final 8 is shaping up. It's looking really, really interesting at the moment. Geelong have just snuck in. I think the Crows will get there. I'm not sure who out of Essendon and St Kilda will end up finishing in that top 8, but I think only one of them might. Bulldogs are up and down. Fremantle seem to be getting their shit together a little bit. Gold Coast have gone on a good run. They've won 2 games in a row. They've got a bit of confidence there. That was a great game. They're actually even with their points for and against. Like, they are the most 50-50 side there in the comp at the moment. Richmond were probably lucky to get away with a win against GWS there. North Melbourne almost snuck away with a win against Essendon. So you'd think if North Melbourne are challenging Essendon that much, then they're going to find it hard to play finals. That's probably why they're around the $31 mark. But that's my thoughts on the game. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Am I too positive? Do you think that we were really that bad? I was pretty happy with it. I was pretty calm throughout the whole games, but I imagine people see the game differently. So let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Please like and subscribe. Of course, if you go into the game, please make sure you get yourself one of these Fight MND beanies to help out Neil Danaher and the cause. So thank you very much for watching. Please like and subscribe. Leave your thoughts in the comments below. This has been Yeah The Dees.
And it's just so special for our club, mate, our club.
Lastly, after 57 years of pain, it's coming home.